Okay, in this video we're going to learn how to use synthetic division to divide polynomials. You've already learned how to add them, adding like terms in Algebra 1 and subtracting like terms in Algebra 1. You also learned how to multiply them, which is the FOIL method or distributive property. And we held off until now to talk about how to divide them. And we're not going to use the traditional method of long division. We're going to use a little neater version. Some people call it a shortcut, but we're going to use synthetic division. So we're going to divide the problem of 2x to the third plus 11x squared plus 18x plus 9. And we're going to divide that by x plus 3. Now you can see how this would actually be difficult in long division, dealing with the two terms here, dividing them up there. All right, but we're going to use synthetic division. Now to use synthetic division, we're going to take the number that, or the polynomial that we're dividing, and we're going to use the coefficients. But there's a step number one is we need to check to make sure that we are in descending order of power. So your highest power needs to be listed first. So x to the third, x squared, x to the first power, and then no x's, or x to the 0. So now, since they're in descending order, all we have to do is list the coefficients. So we have 2, 11, and space them out a little bit, 18, and 9. Okay, so now we're actually going to divide that by putting the solution over here, which is -3, and we're going to put that in, I call it the box. We're going to put it in the penalty box over here. Okay, so that's the first step. Well, actually 2 steps there, 3 steps. Put them in descending order. List your coefficients, then put your solution that you're dividing by in the penalty box over here, so x minus 3. So we're going to see if this divides in there. All right. So the first move is to take this term and just move it down. So we're just going to list 2 down here. Then we're going to multiply 3 times 2. So when we multiply 3 times 2, we get 6, -6. And then we're just going to add those together. So 11 plus -6 is equal to 5. Okay, so now that I have -5 there, I repeat that process again. So I'm going to now multiply -3 times 5. Well, that gives me -15, which I write up here. So that's going to give me -15. Now I add these two. I add this column up. And when I add that column, I get 3. Okay. And I still have another column to go, so I'm going to repeat the process again. -3 times 3, and write our result up here. So we multiply across there, write the result. That is going to be -9. And now I add these two, and I have 0. Okay. Now that I have 0 here, I'm going to put a box around that so we recognize that. That means I do not have a remainder. So that means that 3 plus x, the factor, 3 plus x, well, it is a factor of this polynomial. but we're asked to find all the factors of the polynomial. So let's see what we have left. So if I divide that, that means I need to come down by 1 power in the new polynomial that I'm going to write. So this is going to be 2. That's going to be my leading coefficient. Now I'm coming down, instead of being at x to the third, it's going to be x squared plus 5x plus 3. That's equal to 0. So I know this is a factor. So I want to be able to find my other factors for this. And I can use my other techniques that we had from the past. So we can do the AC method. 3 times 2 is 6. And factors of 6 are 1 and 6, 2 and 3. I know I need a sum of 5. So 2 things that add up to be 5 are 2 and 3. So now I can write this as 2x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 3 is equal to 0. And I can continue to factor by grouping. So let's put the first 2 terms together. Remember, factor by grouping. And the second 2 terms together. And I want to factor out my common factor in the first one, which is 2x. And that leaves inside the parentheses x plus 1. Okay, plus, I'm going to factor out of the second parentheses a 3. And that leaves me with x plus 1. So my parentheses are the same, so they can get factored out from this polynomial. And that will leave me with, or when I factor those out, I get x plus 1, because these are the same, times 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. So now I have, once I do this, I actually have all my factors for that polynomial, right? So that means I need to use the first factor that we used to divide, which is x plus 3. Came from up top. X plus 1. And 2x plus 3 are all my factors. And from here, we set each parentheses equal to 0. I have my solutions. X equal to -3, x equal to -1. Set this equal to 0. X is equal to a -3/2. So I have used synthetic division to find a higher degree polynomial given a factor. To verify that is a factor, we have to get 0 here. That verifies that it is a factor because there is no remainder, so it goes in there completely, wholly. And then taking what is left, the result that's left, changing it into a polynomial in this case because it's still second degree, and going ahead and factoring that term as I did before. In the previous unit, to find the factors by using the AC method and grouping. And I get x plus 1, 2x plus 3, and solving all 3 factors, and it gives me my zeros. I have 3 solutions. I can verify I was supposed to have 3 solutions because I am to the 3rd power. So that's how you do synthetic division.